Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're kicking it old school again. Stephen, welcome. You here?
Are you talking to me?
I am talking to you. Hopefully they can hear us talking.
You're talking to me.
Hopefully they can hear us.
Happy Friday, everybody. I'm here. I'm awake. It's Friday, TGIF.
It is.
It is what it is. It's Friday. I know you've had to pull your hair out.
And that's why I wear hats. So I want to, first of all, again.
Yeah, that's why we all wear hats.
We want to thank everyone
at an alarming rate.
Everyone in the chat. We got Wagner's Tech Talk in there. We got Jennifer. We have the Rextra Show here as well. We have Adam. We have Kal-El. We have JLS Gaming. Goofyfoot. Curtis. Of course, Pdubs. Oh, Pdubs is here. That's kind of weird, huh? We have Jason Murphy. So we have a lot of people. Stephen, you're here as well, of course, trolling. So we want to thank you all once again.
Always get forgotten.
Yeah. I want to thank you all for coming again and joining us here on Kicking It Old School. Remember, tonight at 9 o'clock, it's the Super Game Room dudes. But now we have a special guest tonight. If I can find out where all my different... I'm old. Stephen, I'm old. I'm not wearing glasses. I probably should be wearing glasses, right?
Can't keep using that as an excuse,
I know.
Man.
But listen, let's welcome our guest. Let's welcome our guest tonight. Without further ado, it's the Pdubs man himself from the Super Game Room dudes. Patrick Walton's here.
Help, I'm trapped in a little mini box.
We shoved him in a PDA.
Palm Pilot.
This is terrible. Why am I in this little mini box?
The resolution's really good, though, for that model.
It is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now.
Yep.
So welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for the invite. Guys, you are kicking it old school with Glenn and Steven. And tonight, Pdubs, which this means I'm 41. I'm on the old man show.
He is.
I'm on the old man show.
Old man show. You know what? If we decide to change the name, it's a grumpy old man or old bastards or old man
those
show.
are names we thought about originally, but we tried to keep it.
Yeah.
Dude, we went off the rails with it, and we were trying to come up with it for weeks, and Glenn came up with Kicking It Old School because actually it was Jen. Jennifer
did. Yep.
Jennifer, that's right. And we were like, yeah, that sums it up.
Well,
we're done.
Let's give a fun fact out there.
Let's
kick out a fun fact. The Retro Buzz, Patrick is the guy who came up with that name. So the RetroBuzz show that I was doing with Steven, the other Steven, not this Steven, another Steven, and Cool
Not
Toy,
me, not me.
that was Patrick, and we came up with that name. Actually, we didn't come up with it; he came up with it. But so
Yeah.
So you were on that show, right? Did you and
no.
Steven have kind of like a?
No,
Well,
we
who
did-
was it where
we
they had
did
a
a-
chat thing?
We did a different show.
right,
We did
Yeah, on that
the
same
Legend
channel, right?
Center.
Legend
Oh, that's
Center.
what it was. Yeah.
Legend Center. Yeah, Legend Center. Back in the days where if you did a sponsored show, you were treated like an outcast in the gaming community.
You can't satisfy
But now-
people.
But nowadays, there's like 9 sponsored shows out there, and it's okay.
You know,
No,
Patrick,
the key is to disclose it. That's
no, it was
the thing.
disclosed. It was
No,
disclosed.
No,
It was
but people will
disclosed.
hear their filtration.
No.
I'm not saying
I
you
know.
guys didn't do that, but I see a lot of YouTubers and they go on for like a rant for like 2 minutes.
What's wrong with rants?
I'm not approving anything before this. And you're like, I don't care. Personally, I don't really care that if you were given $1 million to talk about whatever, more power to you. You know
well,
what
the
I
thing
mean?
is, when you're
And people lose
the
their shit on
whenever
like,
you're the
you know.
first to do something, you're always going to get the trolls and people saying, you know, I should have thought that first, and they
Oh,
hit
yeah.
you for it. And that's kind of what happened with like the Legend Center, you know, and the RetroBuzz and Super Gamer Dudes. Then you get other people doing it, which is fine. But when you're the first doing it, you're going to get most of the flack,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then other people kind of benefit,
you might want to highlight Nooner's suggestion for our show,
which was
Gray Bush Gaming.
Whoa. Watch it
Gray
there,
Bush
Nooner.
Gaming.
Watch it there.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. Well, that's the
Well-
thing. So, but yeah, that's the thing. You come up with something new, people are. But if you listen to, Lawn TV, I'm sure you listen to him, Glenn. I don't know if you do, Patrick, but he'll disclose at the beginning. This is sponsored by this, and
we always did. Patrick does. If we get something, if we get sent something from
It's
a
just that it's
manufacturer,
reached that. Well, I'll give you an example. When I used to review games on my Xbox site in between 2000 and 2013, we never put anything up there that said this game was provided by us or anything like that. You know what I mean? It was just put up and that was the end of it, kind of thing. Now people are like, you're whatever.
well, you were a shill, right,
you know.
Patrick? We were shills. That was the word they were, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
like, what's the big deal? That stuff.
Or people-
And which is funny too, Glenn, because I personally feel I'm one of the most hypercritical people out there that review a lot of the products in my niche. And I always point out, but what I try to do on every product review is I point out the good and bad. I point out this is what I like, and these are the opportunities.
That's what you got to do in the end.
These are the opportunities for improvement. And man, people will just land blast you. You know what I mean? Like
It's weird.
Just get
It's really
they get
strange,
so
and
so angry. I don't get it.
we used to get people on my Xbox site, publishers that would get mad at us.
Yeah.
And I would tell them flat out, I'm like, look, if you make if something we don't like, how can we control that? You know what I mean? And then after a while, they would just stop sending us because they would just crank out crappy products or crappy games, and we just stop. It's in the end, we were like, well, keep your crap, and that's the end of it, right? But I always told the reviewers, I said, look, if you don't like something, tell people what you don't like. Just don't say it's a shit game. Point out
Right.
the shit of the
Unless
game,
it's a shit
so to
game.
speak.
In which case you say it's a shit game.
Sometimes but sometimes you got to just say, hey, look, in the end, Paul, I'm going to drive. So basically in the end, you have to tell them exactly what you didn't like, because in the end, you have to justify your low score, because that's what we used to do, is give it a score, right? So
Mhm.
anyway,
Let's do this.
that's a
let's-
different story, but
Let's start something up
Go
here.
ahead.
So, no, I'm the oldest guy of the group, followed by Steven. Pdubs is coming in as the youngster in the group. So we were talking a little bit pre-show about like his
Yep.
favorite shows. I said, don't tell me now. Don't tell me now. We get it on the
Yeah.
show. So Patrick, when you were like growing up, you're
Yeah.
I think about 10, 12 years younger than me. What were the
Yeah.
shows you enjoyed as a kid when you came home from school, or Saturday mornings? What was your thing?
Well, actually, not. I mean, we all watched the same cartoons like Saturday mornings. We watched the Ninja Turtles, the Real Ghostbusters, the X-Men cartoon, like a lot of the '90s cartoons.
love the theme song.
We watch. But You know what I always did is growing up is in Chicago. There's a TV station network. It's called WGN. They actually, I think, syndicate themselves out nationally now, but I think they were just Chicago based when I was growing up. But it's like the channel that plays all the Cubs games and stuff. But on WGN late at night, so what they would do is they would do the news from 9 to 10. They had an hour-long news. And you know how all the big dogs would do a 10 o'clock news show for 30 minutes? You know what I'm talking about? All the networks.
Mm-hmm.
So they would do 9 to 10. And then while the other networks, the main networks, are doing their 10 o'clock news, they would start playing the evening 80s sitcoms. So they had Cheers. They had Night Court. And I think, was it Mad About You or one of the other ones? They would rotate some in and out, but every night they would have reruns of Cheers and Night Court. And I used to watch those shows.
Love Night Court. And Cheers.
Apparently they're rebooting it, aren't they?
They're
bringing back some of the old cast or whatever.
Yeah,
which
John
I thought was
Which one?
interesting.
Night Court or Cheers?
Night Court.
Night Court.
Yeah, Night Court's coming back. John Larroquette's in it. I think he might be one of the only ones. Maybe
no,
one
I think the judge guy is coming back.
I thought he died.
I thought
he's dead.
His name.
He didn't come back.
Unless he
he come back
died.
as a corpse.
Was
Is
it
it
Marky
Post?
I think she's coming. It's one of the. There's a few coming back. It's not just one person. I know that. It's not a full thing, but yeah, it's a. Yeah, I know. I was a big Night Court fan too. I like that.
Real quick before we go on here, we got a super chat here from Scarpads Comic Treks. $2 super chat. Thank you very much. That's why on my channel I play with dolls. But what kind of dolls?
The blow-up kind or the little Star Wars character? Who knows, right? He needs to clarify that.
Thank you very much for the super chat.
Clarify that. And Glenn, are we still donating that stuff?
Yes, we are.
The person needing that surgery.
Yep.
Okay,
In
just
the,
making sure that we're
in the channel's
still...
information. There's a gentleman who's still having his wife needs some eye surgery, so we're going to donate that.
Bring in those super chats. They're going to go to a good cause. You know what I mean? And you're going to get your voice highlighted.
So Pdubs. All right, that's the show. What when you were like a little kid? Like, what was your favorite cartoons growing up? I mean, me, when I was growing up, you had like Space Ghost, and you had the Herculoids. You had Steve was talking about before. The Spider-Man was 3 frames. They always like used and they talked.
Oh yeah, 1967 Spider-Man. Right.
So what was your like
with
cartoons?
The theme song that was epic, right? The theme song is epic.
Well, obviously Ninja Turtles, the real Ghostbusters, X-Men. Those were like the ones I watched the most when I was younger. Those were a lot of fun.
The 90s X-Men is coming back as well. They're continuing that.
And that's another
I'm very excited for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love the theme song. Theme song's a classic. They played it in Doctor Strange without spoiling. They played that theme song in the background.
Well, I think you could talk about it now. I think Doctor Strange's out long enough. Where we can kind of talk about it.
You got to be careful. We don't want hate on our brand new channel here. Or brand
we're
new
19 shows in. We're practically grandparents.
I know. We're veterans. But they played that theme song that you're talking about when what's his face rolled out, and I was like,
now,
oh my
Patrick,
God!
I never asked you this. Do you have siblings?
I have 3 sisters.
Oh, so was it more of a Strawberry Shortcake, My Little Pony TV time when you got home?
Oh my God, it was terrible.
He looked at the ground.
they would want to watch the afternoon shows, the Say by the Bell, the Step by Step.
Oh my Lord!
You know what I mean? Day by day.
You poor guy.
Say by the Bell, Step by Step, Full House. You know what I mean? Like those were the shows my sisters would want to watch when they were hogging the TV.
Wait, so where were you in that mix?
Numbered,
were you the youngest, the oldest, the middle? Like, where did you fit in that?
I was the so I have 3 sisters and they're all older than me. I was the youngest. I was the youngest and I was the only boy. Yeah, my parents kept going until they had a boy. So that's how that happened. But
how how was it growing up with a house of sisters?
My dad and I went fishing a lot.
We went fishing a lot.
Yeah, we went.
That's awesome.
We went fishing a lot. My dad and I spent a lot of time together away from the girls.
That's good for you, though. That's awesome.
Well, I swear to God, no offense to any women out there, but I think their menstruation cycles were all on the same wavelength. You know what I mean? Like, and there was always at least 1 week a month where it was like just cats fighting in the house, like ah! And my dad and I grabbed the fishing poles or
Let's go, Dad. Get in the car.
Go to a car show or something like that. You know what I mean?
So
That's
between
awesome.
that, how old were you when you got your first game console? And did they play with you, or you just like had your friends over to play with games? How'd that work out?
What year was it, too,
Yeah.
roughly?
So our first console was the original NES. So that came out in what?
Late
85. 85, 86.
85. So I was about 5 years old when my parents brought it home. And the first two games were Super Mario Brothers, because that came with it, and Galaga were the first two cartridge games that I ever played.
Wow.
And that's why I just adore those games. You always remember your first.
Oh, yeah.
You know what
Of course. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
did you ever play the Galaga arcade before the NES game, or that was your first experience on the
No.
NES?
My first experience playing Galaga was on the NES, and then eventually on the real arcades.
They
So,
were
yeah.
very similar from what I remember. Like, meaning there weren't too many. It wasn't
Yeah.
like Pac-Man for the Atari 2600 and for the NES is like night and day kind of thing. You know what I mean? At least it was close to what it was.
So
That's cool.
Patrick, what was
Yeah.
your love begin of Q*bert? Because I know that's one of your favorite games. So when did that happen?
Yeah, that was a little bit later, when I would go to what was it called? The Galaxy World East arcade and bowling alley, and they had a massive arcade and a massive bowling alley combined that they eventually converted into. You guys remember Brunswick Zone?
Oh, yeah.
Like Brunswick took them over, and then Brunswick went out of business, and now this is how big the building is. Now that building has turned into a Lowe's or a Love's truck stop. It's actually a truck stop. And if you guys know a Love's truck stop, it's massive. You know what I mean? Like the size of those buildings. But anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, they had Q*bert there. They also had that Mario Brothers pinball machine that I own downstairs, and that's why I bought it. And those were probably like my two favorite games to play, which is why I was so hard up on buying a real Q*bert machine. I got the pinball machine that I grew up with. Now I just need to get a real Q*bert that works. So it'll happen eventually.
Yep. And speaking
They're
of
pricey.
They are, and when you're talking about the Q*bert, I was talking to Patrick. He picked up a VFD one, and of course, Glenn always has his, in his bags. So I got,
You have
of
one.
course I do. So
Nice.
there's a gentleman. His name is Matthew Barlett, and I told Patrick about it, and mine still works.
Look at that. Yours is in way better shape than the one I got.
but it was a donation, which you could get that looking good. These VFD games, they're lost art. I mean, I know Patrick's now seeing how this is with the VFD, how well they were able to make it work.
That's quite the addiction you got there,
Yeah,
Glenn.
and
I wonder who even got you near those things.
You did it to me.
No such
You
thing.
did.
Well,
lies, all lies.
You would assume that when you play that machine, that the experience is going to be as bad as like a Tiger Electronics handheld
Right.
toy.
They're not.
But it's not. It's different technology, and it works, and it works really, really well.
Yeah.
So big shout out. I don't know if he's watching the show. Once again, Jamie Locken, a viewer, sent me that same exact VFD Q*bert device, arcade tabletop that Glenn has in his hands right now. That thing is awesome.
They're a
That's
lost
one I don't have.
They're a lost art, and there is a charm to it, which I guess Patrick is now appreciating on these
There is
older
a charm.
machines.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually looked at a few more on eBay. I think I might buy a few more of the old VFD machines.
It's what happens.
It's a funny story what happened with Glenn, because Glenn and I, when we first met, so to speak, and we were asking, okay, what are you into, blah, blah. And I told him about these things. About a month later, he had the whole collection off of eBay or whatever. And I'm like, wow, I was just blown away. But he fell in love with them, which is great. So I have a few of them. What do I have? I got a Frogger, a Donkey Kong, which Glenn gave me. Thank you, Glenn, again. Yeah. And I have a Miss Pac-Man and a regular Pac-Man. And I've got a Tommy Pac-Man, which is the round yellow. It's about this high. And the most annoying sounds come out of the Pac-Man.
So Patrick, speaking of that, so what is your most, I guess your most, doesn't have to be gaming related. What's your most, not pristine, what we're looking for, something you enjoy the most?
Treasured.
Thank you. What is your most treasured item? Is it an old a record? Is it a game?
A movie.
A movie? Something you
whatever.
own, like an 8-track? Got an 8-track?
Hold on, let me
I've
hit
had
the
milk last longer than 8 tracks.
let me hit the record button here because I got to make sure I clip this. All right, Glenn, go ahead and ask me that question one more time.
Sure, Patrick, what is your most treasured item that you have?
Sorry.
That would be my wife, Glenn.
Wow. I never heard more bullshit
so
in my
you're gonna
life.
stop
But
now and tell us
congratulations,
your
it'll go
real
well with the
answer.
wife.
All right, now let
Give
me
me the truth
let me
now.
stop recording. Let me stop recording. Okay, I'm gonna send her that clip a little bit later. There you go.
Okay, now the truth. Come on, the real answer.
Wait, hold on.
That's
Let
what
me
Ben and I
record
want.
this. Let me record this and send you later.
my-
Okay,
record
go
the
ahead.
Real answer.
My most prized item in my entire house is my Thor Volume 1, issue number 433 comic book.
Wow.
And the reason why is that was the very first comic book I ever read or owned in my life. My dad and I were out at the grocery store. And you guys remember at the grocery store, they used to have the turning racks where they kept,
Oh yeah, yeah.
they carried comic books, right? And we're walking by and I see this comic book. And if the cover to Thor number 433 says there, it's an iconic cover. It says there's a new thunder god in town is what it says. It's a very amazing picture of Thor spinning his hammer. And I was young too. This is a long time ago. Maybe 10. I think I was 10. No, it came out was it 93? I think that's when it came out. But either way, I'm sorry. Whatchamacallit? And I told my dad, I'm like, look at that. And my dad bought it for me, right? And then whatchamacallit? And then I read it and I fell in love with Thor and he became my favorite superhero. And cool. I almost have the entire volume 1 of Thor. Like from it goes from like issues like obviously it was Journey into Mystery, then it became Thor. And then so from Thor up until I think it was like issue 512, 515, something like that. Then they finally like kind of killed it off. It's back. I don't know if you guys are comic book nerds, but they had a character come in called Onslaught. Marvel does this all the time, right? They bring in someone like Thanos or Onslaught or somebody, and they kill off the entire universe, right? And that way then they reboot it, right? And all the comic books start over at 0, right? All the numbers.
Oh, DC's
right?
bigger on that, I think.
Yeah, DC does that crap all the time too. So yeah, volume 1 of Thor, is about 500 issues, and I have most of them. And but yeah, that comic book, and also not only did I fall in love with it, but my dad did too. So like
that's awesome.
Every month, like we knew what week the comics were put on the rack in the store, at the grocery store, and then we'd go in their grocery shop and to buy the comic, and then we'd kind of argue over who got to read it first. Like my dad made it fun for me, you know what I mean, when he was alive.
Sounds like he was a bigger geek than you in a sense, or he was your influence at least. Anyways.
Yeah. My dad was a computer programmer, so he was a nerd.
Nice. Where did he work?
Yes. He worked for. He did work for Pepsi, for a time. He also worked for. What's the sporting company that starts with a W? They make balls and stuff.
Wiener?
Wilson,
yeah. Yeah. And that's actually where my dad met my mom. They worked together and had an office romance.
Really?
So, yeah. All right.
All
right. That's for a different show. But
that's a late night show.
Yeah.
That's a different show.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well,
Not
a lot
the
of people
romance,
find it,
but the whole influence thing.
A lot of people find it funny because I have collectibles in here that are worth, hundreds of dollars, thousands possibly, and this random issue of Thor that might be worth $5 or $6 even to this day because it's only a 20-year-old comic, or a 30-year-old comic, but it's not like one of those issues like where it's like the
collectible one in a sense, a widely collectible.
I mean, it's kind of the first appearance of Eric Masterson as Thor. It's when Odin banished Thor, which is the storyline that they kind of did in the movie, in the first Thor movie, where Thor loses his hammer and his power. He's not worthy. Guys, that's based on that whole story arc from issues 432 up until I think it wasn't until like 487 that Thor finally got his hammer back. It was a great story arc, but that's where they came up with Thunderstrike.
That's cool.
That's where they came up with Thunderstrike and all those guys. Thunderstrike, Eric Masterson, all those guys. Beta Ray Bill made
Right.
a lot of
I was
appearances.
never big
during that time.
on Bill, Beta Ray Bill, but I know some people really do like him.
Did well, let me ask you a
Yeah.
question, Patrick.
Yep.
Has your dad watched Thor? Is he around? Is
Oh
he
no,
like
no,
a?
no. My
is
dad.
He,
So my dad passed away about 20 years ago. So
oh, sorry to hear that. He didn't get to see Thor on the big screen. Oh,
my dad was young when he passed away. He was only 58. He had a heart attack.
oh wow.
Passed away. So yeah.
Oh, he's
My-
seeing it up there somehow.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. He missed on Fat Thor, which is not missing much,
Yeah, that
I
was-
guess. But
I thought that was
video game
was pretty-
Thor.
I thought that was
It
pretty
was
funny.
funny.
He was like
It was funny.
It was
he was
funny.
like the dude, like from
Well,
what is that? The
The Big Lebowski.
He was like the dude Thor, just fat Thor. I thought that was a hilarious.
The best part
way to go.
about Fat Thor was the other guys that were in the
Oh,
same
yeah, the
room.
rock guy,
the
yeah.
rock guy or whatever.
Yep.
He sounds like a total stoner.
Yeah.
So, that's too bad he didn't get his chance to see that. But that would have been cool, though. I'm sure when you go see Thor, you think of your dad
Oh,
automatically,
all the time.
like right off the bat. That's cool. And that's, to some level, that's what this show is all about. Is not just about, hey, what show do you like, but those meaningful geek
Yeah.
stuff things. That's usually Glenn and I. We've gone on rants where it's sometimes just him and I, but we go off on like, what does it really mean to you? Yes, it's not a collectible comic book, but in the end, it means a mountain of emotion and everything.
It's priceless. 'Cause
That's exactly it. Nobody can replace that.
You never forget your
That's right.
first.
That's
So
exactly
I
it.
just threw it in the live chat, guys. Who is your favorite comic book hero? We want to know. Throw it in the live chat. Don't be shy. Type it in there.
Yep.
I want to see. Mine is Thor. It will always be.
What's yours,
Thor.
Glenn?
For me, you're really gonna hate me. There was Space 1999 comics back in the day.
Do we stick to Marvel and do we stick to DC Marvel, or we can go off like in the Spawn territory?
Hold on one second.
do
We got a super chat from Paul. Where was your first arcade and pinball game experience, Glenn, Steven, and Patrick? Very good question. And thanks again for the super chat. We'll make sure that gets donated. Steve, we'll start with you. What was your first, I guess, arcade experience? I know exactly what mine was.
Mine. Okay, so on the way to school, there was about 2 corner stores. I don't know if corner stores where they used to have maybe a little restaurant, a mini little arcade, and candy and pop and movies and all that stuff, right? And on the way to school, this one place it was a chip stand, and it's in a place, it was called Cote's Chip Stand. And in there they had Pac-Man, Vanguard, and when I saw that for the first time, my mind exploded because I didn't really know what a video game was,
Right.
because most of the games like the ColecoVision were all based on the arcade version. So I saw the arcade first, and then you get in there and the thing is loud. There's smoke everywhere. All the grown-ups are there putting in money, and you're just absorbing. I don't even know if I played something that day. I think I was just watching in awe. And it was this little chip stand, basically, a little hole in the wall thing. You know what I mean? And I didn't get to play anything, but it was my first time in an arcade. I gravitated towards Pac-Man, but because that was the thing. Pac-Man Fever was all that stuff, right? So yeah. So what about you
Patrick,
guys?
How about you? First arcade experience.
Mine would be where I lived in Hanover Park, Illinois. Across the street, there was a strip mall that had a what was it like CDs and cassette tapes. You guys remember those?
Yes.
Yep.
I remember the LPs, 8 tracks,
it was-
reel to reel.
Yes. Yeah, it was a music store called Digital Masters, just a mom and pop shop, and he had the Mortal Kombat in there. So we're talking, that's like what, 93-ish. So I'm like,
About that, yeah.
so I'm like 11, 12 years old, right? And me and my buddies would go and look for music and stuff there. And then he started bringing in some arcade machines to help get people to come back. And he had the Mortal Kombat, and then eventually he had like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Killer Instinct, like a lot of those games.
The fighting games, yeah.
Right. And then once we started getting our licenses and stuff, then me and the boys would constantly be going to like Galaxy World and Brunswick Zones and other arcades growing up, but that was kind of like our go-to spot when we were
A record store. That's
little.
funny. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So the very first, arcade I ever played was Mortal Kombat, the
Wow.
original Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Wow.
Me,
Glenn played
about
on
you,
the
Glenn?
Adam
Pong,
was
the original
pretty
Pong.
close. Adam said in here, Pong. Believe it or not, I didn't play Pong first in the arcade. I did play the home version first. The first arcade.
Oh yeah, on the black and
Yep,
white color
on a
game
black and white
ones,
TV. The first arcade machine, it was in a Wall Bombs. If anyone knows, that's a supermarket, Wall Bombs. When you left the store, you had your groceries leaving the store, there was this big, and I was young. I was probably, 4. This big machine was sitting there, and it was Breakout. That was the very first game. And I remember that distinctly because there was something wrong with it. When you were playing it, you would get shocked. There was a bad ground in there somewhere. So you're playing it.
Wow, this is a new
Yeah,
kind of
you
game.
get zapped. So that was actually the first experience
Execution.
with it. I had never seen. It was weird too because we were all kids. It was something you never saw before. It's like a UFO coming down. There's this big cabinet just sitting to get out of the place with a TV in it, and it was just all this black and white lines. And you see this ball going around with a spinner, and your parents didn't give you a quarter back then, so you were just watching someone else play, or you just would spin the wheel.
Well, that's my story too. You just watched other people have this crazy thing. I mean, Defender was there, the whole thing. I mean, it was all, and it was loud. It was like 6, 7 machines, and it was like rock music playing on top of all that too. You know what I mean? It's like, it was insane. So so what about the superhero question? Let's talk about the superhero thing. So you said Thor. Glenn, what about you?
For me, I don't know.
Not Toxic
No,
Avenger.
I was thinking more along the lines of Debbie from Dallas, but it's not really the kind of question we're asking about here. So, honestly,
this is a family show somewhat.
It's a tough one because I really like Batman, I do, but if I was to go to the wall now, I mean, are we talking about as a kid or now? Like, how it just does it matter?
The one that stuck with you, I guess that's what the
then it would have been. It would have been.
Your one hero there,
man.
If you had to
back, I mean, it was Superman back then.
He's too overpowered. That's what I always thought.
Speaking of Superman, that it's a Taito Superman game, right? Arcade.
Yes.
Game?
Yeah, there is.
Okay, so I used to give that game a lot of crap. Like I thought it kind of sucked, and I think it's because the opening level isn't all that exciting, right? It's not till like level 2 where you're like Superman and you're flying, Glenn.
Yep,
you know what I'm talking about? That it really starts to pick up steam and it becomes a fun arcade game. So I did videos like a couple years ago where I was like, Superman sucks, but I actually, because we have all these little naughty Batasera coin ops builds, you know what I'm talking about there, Glenn. I
They're all legit.
I have tried playing Superman again recently, and I actually got to further levels, and the game is actually really good. I would love to see a Superman arcade cabinet from one of these home arcade companies. I think that would be so cool. Even though the game isn't like the greatest, I think it's good enough that it would be cool. Plus,
have you seen? Okay, so if you're a Superman fan, have you seen the Unreal 5 fan-made Superman game that the guy did? It'll blow your mind.
I haven't.
Okay, so I'll set it up so that it's a YouTube video. So basically, the Unreal 5 engine was announced, we'll say 2-3 months ago now, and there was the Matrix demo, which is a city with the Matrix with a car chase and everything.
Oh, really?
And then they released all those assets to the fans to build whatever. This guy made a Superman game, and he's flying Superman through this Matrix city.
Cool.
It's unbelievable. Go look. It'll blow your mind. You'll be like, oh, you would say, Pdubs, you'd be like, they got to make a game like that. They have to make a game like that.
It sounds cool.
It is really cool. He even has when he flies and he goes faster, it makes the boof at the back, like he just broke the sound barrier kind of thing. And I was like, wow. And when he lands, he does the Superman landing, that hero pose into the
like me.
The hero pose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not quite like that.
My goal in life is to one day trip and stumble and slip getting out of the shower and land
like that.
Land like that on my bathroom floor and even do the head up at the end. You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
as we
about?
get older, that's not going to happen.
All right.
Yeah, but
As
I'll
much as-
probably break a kneecap and tear my ACL and who knows what else.
Probably, yeah.
But-
That's the reality of getting older. But as far
But-
as superhero, I don't know I haven't gone yet, but for me, it's a tie between 3 Marvel
But
characters.
that's cheating. Okay, I pick all.
No, but if I had to just pick one, I want to say Daredevil.
Okay, Matt Murdock.
Daredevil, I'll
Matt
tell you
Murdock.
why, because it's that whole man without fear thing, but he lives in the slums, but he'll jump off the side of a building and he can't see squat, and he'll still somehow land on his feet. He'll kick the shit out of people, and he's not really super powered per se, like, kind of like a Batman, but he's blind kind of thing. But I like Doctor Strange too. Doctor Strange, I really like because he could literally not beat up the Hulk. He could just put him through a portal and the Hulk's in Alaska somewhere and the fight's over kind of thing, Spider-Man I like a lot too, but I think he's everybody's favorite, so I didn't want to go with that. But Daredevil has to be my go-to favorite, but I really like the Netflix series that they made.
Oh,
But the movie with Affleck was a little eh.
So the Netflix Daredevil series, I only watched the first season. I didn't.
Oh, it's
watch,
awesome. It's great.
I should have kept going, and now they're technically
Right.
canon because
it was in the movie.
He
Disney-
appeared in
Disney and he's in the movie, and Disney and Marvel have gotten the rights back to all those characters, and they've put all those shows on Disney Plus as well under the Marvel category. So
that's right. And also they're working on a series for him again. I don't know if it's a reboot or just a continuation of the Netflix stuff, but I'll be honest with you, I really like that character. He bleeds, but he has I don't know. I kind of like that character. It's kind of cool. DC, I have a harder time with their characters. Like, to me, Superman's just too overpowered. It's too
Well, that's
obvious.
the point
None
of
they
it.
have Black Adam.
But that's the
coming
point
out,
of Superman.
like,
He's
I'm
supposed to
excited
be
for that.
overpowered. He's supposed to be like an ideal, like the ultimate. That's
but
that's his thing.
You know what they're taunting now is this Black Adam new movie coming out.
But I will say this,
Mr. Dwayne Johnson.
Look,
apparently, he's
I'll say this:
stronger
if
than
Disney
Superman.
buys
Oh, yeah.
DC, Superman will be replaced with a 4-year-old girl with powers that'll put him
Probably.
to shame. Because that's what Disney will do.
And learned
But
everything.
let me switch gears here for a little bit. I want to ask Patrick another question. This will be
Sure.
a hard question now. We've been building up. Now we get to hard questions. So I've known Patrick since he started his channel. He's built up his channel extremely well. I think he's got a great following. I think he puts on fantastic shows. His channel, Super Game Room Dudes.
Thanks,
I laugh
man.
my ass off when those 4 guys are on there, man. They do. But I'm going to ask him just 2 parts. It's a pendulum. One question is going to be, since you started your channel and Super Game, pick anything, Super Game Room Dudes, Pdubs, Arcade Loft, what was the thing that blew you away? Like, oh my God, this is amazing. It could have been one of your fans telling you something, or just something that happened. What was your best? And what is the one thing you're like, Jesus Christ? And we all do this. I'm done. Like, I can't. This is going to end my whole thing. We all go through one or the other. But I want you to tell me first.
Yeah.
Let's start with, what was your worst moment? I want you to end on a high note. And what was something you said, you know what? That's why I'm doing this. This is awesome.
Worst moment for me, and I still struggle with this today. Whereas a lot of other guys, they know instantly to ignore the negative feedback or ignore the trolls. Keep them in your rearview mirror. Keep looking forward. Don't feed the trolls. You know what I mean? And I still, on occasion, feed the trolls. You know what I mean? And whatchamacallit. And also, when you're successful at something, if other people aren't as successful as you kind of get a target painted on your back, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And, just seeing the fact that, guys, this is video games, and we got real problems in the world, and people acted like YouTube is some kind of turf war. You know what I mean?
The Warriors.
Like
Remember the TV show, the movie The Warriors?
It's like gang warfare. Right. You know what I mean?
Gotta
I'm
so factions.
over
what
that
faction
crap.
you, Pdubs? Where are you?
And it cracks me up too, but then again, here's the thing though. The fact that despite the fact that I've built myself a little following just like you guys, you're always going to have another following that hates you, just hates everything you do, everything you say, no matter what you do, you'll never make them happy. So what's funny is the fact that I've been doing this for 2 years, and I can understand if somebody new comes along and they're like, "Oh my god, I discovered this guy's channel and I think he sucks. This Pdubs guy sucks." You know what I mean? And they move on to the next guy. I'm not going to watch this guy. But Glenn, we're talking like 2.5 years. The
Can you
same
believe that
like
it's been that
group
long?
group of people, so angry and still like
You gotta
mad.
move along, man.
So what does that tell me? It tells me that they can't stop watching the content that I put out, right? And it just means, the way I look at it, it means if I give you a positive reaction, like you watch my content and you're like, that was really cool, I really enjoyed it, I'm winning. But when you watch my content and I get a negative reaction and you hate me for life and do tweets about me, bash me, make videos about me.
Do people go that far?
Oh yeah, they do.
Absolutely
Oh,
do.
God.
You know what you know what, Glenn? I'm not losing. I'm not losing.
They're
I'm
still talking about
I'm
you.
still winning. Like, I take up that much real estate in their brains that they like think
That's
about
a good way
it
of thinking
and
about it.
what
What you
I
just
do.
said right there.
You know what I
Because
mean?
we both
like
we both have experienced the negative parts, and
Right.
it's sometimes it's hard,
Right.
especially because when you have a
Right.
good heart, and Patrick has a very good heart. Stephen not so much, but
Yeah.
Patrick does, and it does
Oh,
affect you
yeah.
a little bit.
But so that's kind of like the just dealing with the, if people want to do stuff on social media, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, whatever you want to do, Snapchat, there's a negative aspect to it, which I'm still learning to deal with it. Like, I have my moments where I snap, but so that's the negative, just the negative, all the negative crap that comes with doing social media stuff. On a positive note, you said what's the coolest thing for me? Well, some people, they stand on a Bible and they're like, I don't care about subscribers, I don't care about views. You know what I'm saying? But me, I'm an insurance underwriter, as you know. I'm an overly analytical person, as you know, when I do my product reviews and stuff. So for me, I have to have a number. You know what I mean? I have to have a goal. And I was like, if I'm going to do this YouTube thing, I'm going to try and prove that somebody like me, who doesn't look like Brad Pitt, who doesn't have the greatest production in the world, can get to 10,000 subscribers. And we did. And that was my goal. And after that, I wanted to quit. I was like, I hit my goal, I'm done. But all my buddies, like Michael B, Nostalgia, and everyone were like, no, keep going, keep going. You don't need to
You
quit.
should.
I'm like, I hit 10K. Like, I wasn't trying to go to 100. I wasn't trying to become famous or something. Like, I just
Do it till you don't love it anymore,
Right.
Patrick. That's the best advice I could give somebody, because
right.
not to take away anything, but I started my Xbox site in 2000, and there
Yeah.
wasn't social media back then to the level it's at now, but we had trolls come in and everything else, and they made your days crappy. But they still showed up, like you say.
Yep.
That doesn't change from 20 years ago to now.
Yep.
They still come, and you're like, well, I learned at that point in my life that was like, well, they're talking about my site. Why not? But we would, in the forums where we had forums, you're here to talk about video games.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about politics. Don't want to hear about religion. Keep that somewhere else. There's other websites for that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure you're in the same boat where you
Yeah.
stay focused, do your own thing,
Well, here's the thing is, when we like to call them trolls, but let's just be honest, it's a really negative word. I mean, you should just call them detractors. You have people who promote your channel, and then you have detractors, people who don't like your product or your channel.
But they still come back. It's so weird and
but here's the
baffling.
thing: the detractors keep watching, and they keep mentioning you in Facebook groups and Discord channels, and Twitter pages, and
Indirect publicity.
and here's what's funny is all they're doing is driving more traffic to me.
Yeah,
You know what I
more
mean?
publicity for free.
Like, I am not losing anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good way to look at it.
You
Good way to
know,
look at it. Yeah.
when they say there's no such thing as bad press, there's no such thing
It's
as
true.
bad press. Sorry.
That's true.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So, but yeah, but yeah, I mean, I hit my goal. I was like, if anyone works hard, puts in the effort, and if you have, if you can talk on a microphone, you can get to 10,000 subscribers or beyond. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was that was the thing that I liked the most. So
I'll be hitting you guys up for advice eventually when I decide to maybe start my YouTube channel. I'm just trying to come up with a name now. So, But it's good advice.
Well,
Phil, I'll
don't
be
come to
honest,
me for advice for
because
that because it's
a lot
called
of
Glenn's
people probably
Retro
get this-
Show, and I couldn't think of anything. So
Yeah.
don't come to me for
Yeah.
that.
But that's the thing. A lot of people probably get discouraged by the trolls. We'll call them trolls for lack of a different word. I know a lot of people that start. Jason, that's in the chat. At the beginning, he was like, "Oh, there's people here," and then, and he was dealing with it, but he's heard the comments from other YouTubers and things like that. And it's an old story, but in a different flavor, in a sense, right? So that it's the trolls, they'll always be there. And I never understood that mentality. I don't know if you guys have, but I never understood it. When I don't like something, I just go somewhere else where it makes me feel happy, and that's the end of it.
You change the channel. People don't know how
Yes.
to change the channel.
Yes, I say
They think when they're sitting down, squatting, taking a poop, watching a YouTube video that they can't go to the next video.
Out of the millions of other channels that exist out there, they decide they want to stick around and give this person self-destructive advice or whatever. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird to me because just move on. Like,
well, like for instance, like there's a guy who just started covering like arcade 1-ups and iArcade and At Games, Bill's retro gaming show, which by the way, you need to get him on your show. I think you and him would really hit it off, Glenn. Especially, you have the retro show. He's got the retro gaming show. It just sounds like it's meant to be. But what's funny about Bill is I saw Bill shared one of his videos in a Facebook group, and this guy, apparently people get so mad if you share videos in Facebook groups. Like I've stopped doing it. Like I haven't shared videos like that in a long time. I only put them in like the groups that I run, which is only one. like I don't go around spamming Facebook groups like I used to. Because people just get so mad, they take it so personally. So what's funny is Bill posted a link to a video, and this guy was coming at him hard in the comments, like just screaming at him for sharing this link. And Bill was responding to him, right? Like Bill was like going back and forth with him, and then
Newbie mistake.
What you call? I messaged Bill. I messaged Bill, and Bill's brand new. He's got 300 subscribers, something like that. He's brand new. I messaged him. I said, "Dude, stop." I said, whenever they leave you those comments, just ignore them. You know what I mean? He's like, but he did it last time I did this. The same guy. He keeps coming at me.
Yeah, it's a troll definition, right?
And I told him, I said, Bill, you know what that means? He goes, what? I go, you're witty. You're witty. I was like, just ignore him. Respond to the people who say thanks for the video.
That's a hard thing, though. You got to take that and actually use that as a positive. But when you start at your channel, it gets personal. Because you're doing these videos to educate and help, and you think you're doing the right thing, and then you have these people like attacking you for it, and it you have to really, like Patrick's right, you got to take that negativity and realize, and he said it so well, that you're occupying so much of their mind.
Oh, they can't stop. They can't stop thinking about it. You know what I mean? But yes, I have some bad news, Glenn. I have to go, guys, because the Super Game Room dudes are going to be live in 12 minutes.
I just want you to say everything to all the fans. I mean, there's actually more on your channel. There's some here. Here's your moment to shine. Tell them what you think of him, Patrick. Tell them how much you appreciate him or how much you hate him. Go. Do it. People watching the show right now.
Watching your show.
If you like him, you hate him. Here's your chance.
Hey, when I see Ritual, Nooner, Goofyfoot, Paul, Al, Ritual Del, Cammy, love Cammy. Although she lives so far away.
She is, but she's come to the States a couple of times.
It's the same people all the time, man. It gets me hyped, gets me excited. Rexer shows here. Here's good advice for people. If you want to start a YouTube channel, don't. That's pretty hilarious. Cogs are us is here as well. I think everyone here is awesome. Guys, let's do our best to, it's video games. Let's just have fun. That's what we're here for, having fun. That's what I try to promote. And make sure.
I want to thank you to come to join us. That's awesome.
But since I'm not going to be here when Glenn ends, do us a favor, guys. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on the way out, and make sure you subscribe to Glenn's Retro Show. He's doing a killer job here, kicking it old school. Thanks so much for having me on. I got to go get ready for my show.
Patrick, I really appreciate you coming on. And everyone, don't forget, stay a few more minutes, but 9 o'clock, head over to the Super Game Room dudes. Patrick, thanks once again for coming on, buddy.
Rock and roll.
Again. Bye, bud. Bye.
We'll talk soon.
Take care.
All right, so we got a little more time. We have Super Chat here from Wagner from Wagner's Tech Talk, another really good friend of mine. I've been
The
trying to
struggle is
get
real.
Wagner on the show, and he's just been so busy. Wagner, when are we going to have you on, buddy? We got a super chat. The struggle is real. Have a great weekend, guys. If you guys don't know Wagner, wake up. Smell the coffee. Go over to Wagner's Tech Talk. He's got a great channel over there.
Yeah, and his little character types really, really fast
He does.
on his animation.
Dun,
Makes me laugh every time. Oh, it's like the really 6,000 words a minute kind of thing. It's awesome. So it's no, it's good. It's I enjoyed having Patrick on.
Good
That's
guy.
Awesome stuff. So
And that's this show.
But,
this show was really not
but yeah.
about like gaming. It's not really about anything. It's really about having people on and talking. It's more like Donahue. I'm going to say Donahue.
and talking
not
about the
Oprah,
good old
'cause we're guys.
days and
Donahue.
yeah, it's more about the nostalgia or the geek culture, and that involves the electronics and the video games and the music. And we haven't talked
No,
much
because
about
anything
the music
music
on the
related,
channel much,
they
but
sue you. The music industry is insane. They
we
don't care.
won't play anything.
Just mention something like that, they're
we could-
suing you.
Really, if you even mention the word Celine Dion or Def Leppard, somebody's burning your door down or what? How's that work? I've never gone through it, so I don't
JLS
know.
Gaming Super Chat.
It's like-
Thanks once again. Don't feed the YouTuber past midnight. Multiplying. Is it multiplying after
Yeah.
midnight? Is that what it is? Feeding
be
after midnight? It was multiplying, right?
Yep.
Oh, I thought that was
Yeah, they
wet.
become the cocoon
Wet
things, right?
multiplies them. What does feeding do?
Wet, yes, wet multiply feeding. They become the
It
green
makes them
guys.
mean?
Yeah, it makes them the green guys, not the furry lovable ones.
I remember them getting wet, and he goes, ah! And
Gremlins?
they start popping out of his back. when
Wet
he's
they
wet.
multiply. Wet they multiply. When you feed them, they become the green guys with the snakeskin looking.
Oh, right,
That's what
right.
it
They're
is.
cute and cuddly, but when they, yes.
They eat. They become the
Gotcha.
thing with the claws.
Oh,
and the,
see? Thanks,
you know,
Stephen.
Lizard looking.
Where is it? Where is it?
What's that?
Copyright. See,
Def
you're doing it
Leppard
again. You're
MS-80s,
going to
yeah.
get us nailed here.
They better not do.
Wagner
anything. I
does know
love
well.
Def Leppard.
Wagner, he just puts on, again, a great show. He makes the OpenCade. You can 3D print cases and stuff for your arcade controls. Really, really good stuff in there. Really, really good stuff. So,
I've watched his channel a few times. Patrick, I didn't know that well. Got to know him
so we're
really
going to
good
shame
tonight, but
John Wagner to come on the show. I've been trying for a while. He's been so busy, but we're going to shame him now. Everyone here wants him on.
So who's the individual that wants us on their show? Was it?
No,
Wagner's
so
Tech Talk or was
Rexer.
somebody
So
else?
Rexer, if you're still in the chat,
Rexer,
yeah,
that's
we're
right.
going to come on your show. I
still
think
looks
he's
like
on
he's still here.
Sundays at like 10 p.m. I think we're okay with that if he's doing a show Sunday.
We might be on. We
So-
might be on. Yeah. So
I'll
keep an
message,
eye on
I'll
his
message
channel for that.
Rexer after the show. We're going to talk about some good stuff on there. Rexer, again, another guy.
I got to go pick up my son after.
No, we're putting on a
here,
show.
so-
He has to wait. Leave him outside for a little while. But
Oh no, he finishes.
oh,
at
looks like
9,
we're set.
so he
Looking
doesn't get out
forward
of there
to it.
till
Rexer says we
9:15,
should
so
look
we're
for us.
good.
I think
We're
we'll
good.
be on
We're good.
Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern time, which would be great.
Okay.
Rexer again
Yep.
puts on fantastic content, and I don't think he has enough subs for the quality he puts out. So, if you guys are not currently subscribed,
I've watched.
you got to
his
get
show
over
a few
there.
times,
I was
too.
robbed a
I
couple
have.
times some contests. I was kind of robbed a few times, but hey, that's okay. Yeah, Wolf and Oz,
Robbed.
he deserved it. He's definitely more knowledgeable than me, but I did pretty good. So we've only got a few minutes
Yes,
left,
sir,
but I got to say, I have not yet watched Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's going to start this weekend. I was watching. No, I
Have you
finished
watched
up Stranger
anything?
Things. I like Stranger
okay.
Things, but
It
no, I've
gets
actually
better.
heard it's very woke. I've heard there's a lot of characters that are making Obi-Wan Kenobi look like a turd
Not
muffin.
that bad.
So I'm going in already now, kind of upset that Kathleen Kennedy may have ruined Obi-Wan like they ruined Luke. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can't say. But
I'm not sure if I agree that it's like The Last Jedi all over again. I don't know. Watch it, and I think we'll reconvene. You know what I mean? We'll I
Yep,
think there are
and
four
Rex said
episodes
we're going
on
to talk
now?
about it. So that's the plan. My plan is Rex this weekend is to watch.
Sure,
It's what 5
I'm all
episodes
caught
in? 4.
4.
Obi-Wan.
Sorry, which one?
Okay, so I can catch up.
Obi-Wan's
easy.
4, I
I'll start
think.
watching it tonight. I'll be done.
I think it's 4. Yeah, the boys. I haven't
Take-
watched the new season
Goofyfoot
yet, but
is
The
actually
Boys
paying
pretty
us
good too.
not to talk about it, so maybe we shouldn't because Goofy's going to pay us. So thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet myself. I just saw a couple of people talking about it, saying that it looks like they've, chastised Obi-Wan like they did Luke. I don't know. I have not seen it yet.
You know what? I'm starting to sort of take a different approach to this, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Like, we're 50 plus years old. We're getting Star Wars stuff. I'm pretty grateful. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't agree with everything they're putting out, but I am grateful there is Star Wars.
Well, there's going to be a
shows,
ton
you
of
know what I
them.
mean? Maybe
There's
not
going to be
the
so
movies
many.
as
You're not
much,
going to do with them all.
I hope so. I hope so. Maybe this Obi-Wan's going to be a piece of crap, and then we move on to the other whatever they come up with. You know what I mean? A Darth Vader show or whatever. And I'm just happy that there is. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just happy there is Star Wars stuff.
Oh,
now, do I like everything?
Here.
No.
The Boys, season 3. That's also on my agenda. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Me too. I have to watch
Death
it.
Battle. Death Battle
It's a great
did
show.
the Invincible's father, Omega Man, I think it was called, versus I can't think of his name right now in The Boys, the Superman guy.
Boys,
Yeah, but if you haven't,
Mr. America or something, or
Yeah,
the
Death Battle.
flag.
Go to
or
Death
I forget
Battle.
what it's called.
I thought that was one of their best ones that they did. I thought they nailed it perfectly. Death Battle is a
Oh, yeah.
great YouTube channel. Go check that out. And The Boys, good show.
I like The Boys. It's a
It's how they would really
superhero
be. No,
show
I think that's how
gone
they really
bad.
would be. If you had those kind of powers, they absolutely would do that. I would.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you right now, if I had those powers, hell yeah. Why not?
Oh yeah, it's pretty awesome. Like, I think the shocker part was when the
That was
speedster
the very
ran
first
right
episode.
through the woman. Yeah, the very first episode, and the woman exploded everywhere, and the guy didn't. He stopped, and then he went.
It's like, I got to
It
go.
was
I'm
like-
sorry. And it was
Oh
just
my
always like
God.
little body parts flying off for being hit by someone going at light
Oh
speed.
yeah. The CGI was tremendous on that. It was awesome.
Just like
So, yeah, so
Invincible.
basically,
Invincible to me is
Boys-
like animated boys.
oh, that's
And it's
awesome.
also just for adults, but a fantastic show. Season 1
I
is
loved it.
on.
Loved
2
it.
and 3 were greenlit, and I'm not sure when they're going to be out, but Invincible is a very, very good show.
It's awesome, dude. I love that show too. I think it's some of the best superhero storytelling out there. So it's what else we've been watching Stargate.
Well,
My
the
wife and
series,
SG1.
that's like 5 billion
Yeah, the
episodes.
series,
You're never going to catch
SG1,
up
yeah.
on that.
It's 10 seasons of about, I think, 22 episodes each. But I'm a big Stargate fan. It's up there with
I liked
Star Wars
Farscape.
for me. And
If
stuff
anyone
like that. So
remembers
it's,
Farscape, I liked Farscape.
Farscape's cool. I haven't watched all of it there, but
True
it's not
fun
bad.
fact,
It's
my uncle worked for HBO at the time when it got canceled before they had the finale.
oh,
So there was a multi-millionaire in England who reached out to HBO and said, listen, what happened? It got canceled. Yeah, we ran out of money. It got canceled. I will pay Jim Henson and Hallmark to do a 2-hour season finale, show finale episode. And like, are you kidding? And this person did. They paid multi-millions of dollars. We got the final episode, and I actually have 2 videotapes. I saw that episode 6 months before it was released. I got a card from Jim Henson's company, and I got a little watch. Oh yeah,
You
it's
still
in my
have it?
collection. Absolutely do.
You gotta show the people this.
All right,
That's awesome.
we're at 8:59. We don't want to trample on Super
We're
Gamer
good.
Dudes. Everyone, listen. Once again, I want to say
Nope.
you guys are the best. We love you guys in the chat.
You guys are awesome.
We're gonna try and get Wagner on, Rex are on, so many other people still to come on the show. But you guys are still the best part of the show for both of us. So I want to say once again, it is
The show is
It
the
is.
community, really.
So I want to
in the
thank you
end.
all for watching. Hop over
It
to
really
the Super
is.
Gamer Dudes because I haven't set up the little thing that does it automatically because I'm an old man. What am I going to do?
We should be
Yes.
here next Friday too, but summertime's coming, so
Maybe.
we may miss a few. But for
But
next
once again,
week, we should
no matter
be
what
okay.
you do, make sure you tell your family, friends, how much you love them. And what, Steven? You game on, my
You
friends.
game on.
Enjoy.
Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.